be looking at how you can create high-quality feedback within your Canvas Learning Management System courses by using the SpeedGrader to provide feedback to your students in multiple formats, by importing learning outcomes or standards into your Canvas LMS courses, adding those learning outcomes to a quiz, messaging students from the gradebook based on their assignment status, student analytics using the new analytics tool available within your Canvas LMS course with advanced messaging options to contact your students. And then finally, we're going to look at a new feature for the 21-22 school year, which is the comment library for SpeedGrader. Let's begin by looking at the SpeedGrader feedback options. To get to SpeedGrader, there are a couple of different ways you can access it. First, you can go into any of your assignments within your course, and when you click on an assignment, you'll notice on the upper right-hand corner the assignment is SpeedGrader. Or you can go into Grades, and in any of the columns for the grades, if you click on the three dots and go to SpeedGrader, when SpeedGrader opens up, you will see the student work and submission. So for this example here, it was a PDF that I had the student annotate and submit back to me. So I'm going to go over some of the tools that we have available in SpeedGrader to annotate and leave feedback on student work. Please note that this will work with multiple file types that you have your students submit. So if you have them submit a picture, a Word document, if you have them submit like a text box or anything within Canvas, all of these things will show within SpeedGrader. Just a note that right now, SpeedGrader does not work with assignments submitted through the Google LTI 1.3. They are working on developing that functionality for Google LTI 1.3, but just know that SpeedGrader is not working right now with that. If your district is still using the Google Cloud assignments, those do work with SpeedGrader. So up at the top of the menu, I can, click on a point and add an annotation. I can also highlight, add a text box. We can also draw directly onto the document as well. So you have all of those options. After you are done making an annotation, you'll see that there is a comment box right here where I can leave a comment regarding the annotation that I just made. Google does, with Canvas, your work is saved automatically every 30 seconds in SpeedGrader. So you will see that the page might refresh on you. That is just the autosave process. SpeedGrader also works in the Canvas Teacher app. If you do not have the Canvas Teacher app on your phone or tablet, I highly encourage you to download it. It is wonderful for being able to use the SpeedGrader on the go wherever you are. Also here on the right side, you'll see where you put in your grade for the student. And then you can also put in some additional comments. I've already left here a comment about the student that did not complete the rest of the worksheet. And then also, you have some options down here underneath your comment box where you can add text to speech or speech recognition. So if you'd prefer to voice out your comment, it will put it in the comment box. If you click on the play icon, it makes a media comment. And a nice thing about the media comment is that you have the ability to turn off your webcam if you don't want to and just leave an audio comment for your students. Very nice for them to be able to hear your voice and hear your tone when you're leaving comments on their work. Helps build that relationship and makes it a little bit clearer for students to understand normally if they can hear a voice comment or a short media comment as well. You can also, using the paperclip icon, you can import any type of file that you want to return to the student with their feedback. So perhaps you have a rubric that you've used in the past and it's a PDF, you could certainly attach it there. I do recommend using the rubrics within Canvas because they're very nice to use with SpeedGrader, very simple to use. So I do encourage you to take the time to build them out, but I know sometimes we already have them, or maybe it's a rubric that's provided by someone else and we have to use that particular rubric. you can definitely do that using the file attachment tool within your submission. Once you're done providing feedback to a student, you notice that you have these two arrows over here on the top right corner where you can go and filter through to the next assignment that needs to be graded. There's also a drop down with the student names where you can drop down to the next student. And then you can also exit the SpeedGrader by clicking back on the gradebook icon, and that will take you back to your gradebook. So hopefully that was a helpful quick tutorial on SpeedGrader and all of its wonderful capabilities for providing feedback to your students in multiple formats. Next, we're going to look at student learning outcomes. All right, so next we're going to talk about learning outcomes or standards within our Canvas course. So if you go into your course and on the navigation menu on the left side of the screen, if you click on outcomes, this is where you will see any standards that have been imported into your course. You do have to repeat this process for each course, but then once you have imported the standards into the course, they'll be there for the whole semester, the whole year. You'll notice too, you may have this little pop-up that comes up that explains how you can use outcomes. So that's great information there from the Canvas guides. But basically, you may have a blank kind of box here. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have to go in and find our outcomes. And they are organized in a folder system, which may not make a lot of sense to you at first, but hopefully you will get familiar with it. So we're going to go click on what this says account standards, and we should see North Carolina Public Schools. You'll notice that the math standards are in their own folder, but then if we go into the North Carolina folder, we'll see all of our essential standards. So you just kind of go on the file system, and if you accidentally click on the wrong thing, you can scroll over on the left side of the screen to see all the folders. You do not have to go any deeper than the folder that you want. So maybe I'm looking for social studies and maybe I want 8th grade. If I just click on that 8th grade folder, it'll import all of these 8th grade standards. So I'm just going to go click on import. And you'll notice now I have the 8th grade social studies standards. We'll do that one more time. Just to note that if you are not seeing this, if you are not seeing the North Carolina folder, please reach out to your Canvas admin at your district or charter school because there is a process where they have to import the standards one time into your Canvas instance, and then each instructor can pull in the standards into their specific courses. Note we also have the digital learning competencies for teachers and administrators, as well as our North Carolina professional teaching standards and our standards for school executives. So those are also some learning outcomes. If you're developing professional learning courses, you can certainly pull those in as well and align your assignments and quizzes to those outcomes as well. All right, so I'll go in here and maybe I'm going to go pull in music and I'll pull in 8th grade, import that. All right, so now I have my 8th grade music, 8th grade social studies, all back here, so ready to go for my outcomes. Next, let's talk about how we can align our quiz questions to an outcome. So if I go down here into my quizzes in the course navigation, I can see the quiz I have in this course. If I go in and down to the build, this is a new quizzes quiz. If I go into any one of these questions, these are banked items. I always recommend that you edit your items in the bank. That way you can reuse them for multiple quizzes. So you'll see that it pulls up the editor. I have my question stem and my answer choices. And if I scroll down just a little bit here, I can see outcomes. So this particular question was already aligned to this outcome. I can remove that by clicking the trash can icon, and then I can say align. And again, I'm giving that same folder system. And so the folder system is very helpful. So I'm just going to go back into my essential standards and go back into social studies, and let's go back into 8th grade and culture. And then we can select multiple ones and confirm that alignment. And now we see that new alignment there for a question. So why would I do this? The reason why you would do this is because in Canvas, there's actually a Learning Mastery gradebook where if you have your quiz questions or assignments aligned to outcomes, it will actually show students' performance based on standard. So it's very helpful, but if you don't use outcomes, if you don't have the standards in there, then that Learning Mastery gradebook doesn't really work. So once you're done aligning, click on Done. And then if I click on the Return button, that'll take me back to my home page here. And then if I go up to where it says Grades, and you'll notice under here where I have Gradebook, I now have that Learning Mastery where I can see the students, I can see the standards, the outcomes that I've aligned. And I would be able to see any of their course averages that either their exceeds mastery, meets mastery, near mastery, or well below. This particular course that I'm showing for this demonstration is concluded at this point, so I didn't add the outcomes before the students completed the quiz, so you're not seeing any student results here, but you would have rows with your students' names, and underneath each standard, you would see a colored box. So very helpful information to know by your learning mastery standards. So you can align your assignments to learning outcomes. You can add for your quiz questions, as I've shown, and you can also add learning outcomes to rubrics that you use within your course. So very helpful there for those 3 different types of assignments to be able to add the learning standards to them and then have this feedback right here. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my gradebook view, which is, your traditional view with your students and what they have completed. All right, so now we're going to talk about how we can message students directly from the gradebook. So I have my gradebook pulled up here, and for this, any one of these assignments, if I click on the 3 dots next to the assignment, I'll have, you see the SpeedGrader that we used earlier, and now there's a message students who. And so message students who haven't submitted yet, haven't been graded, scored less than or more than. And so this is a really nice way to be able to remind students. So maybe I want to send a message to anyone who hasn't submitted yet. It will give a subject area or a subject line. And so, scored less than, 70, right? And so I can send a message to them saying, hey, I want to unlock this assignment for you to resubmit it, or whatever your text is that you want to send to students. But it's a really easy way to be able to send a message to all the students when it's applicable to them. So if you notice that you have maybe a high percentage of students who missed a certain assignment, you could certainly come into to the gradebook and do that. You can also think about for extension, if you have students that score scored maybe above a 90, and you want to give them some, an extension activity or something for them to go a little deeper on the area, you can definitely use this messaging feature for that. Just a note about messages in Canvas, they do go into the student's inbox, and depending on their notification settings, they may or may not get an email at their school email address, because Canvas does allow students to go in and manage their notifications. So if you go under account and then you'll see notifications, you'll be able to set which notifications you want to get. And so you can, by default, your Canvas admin can set these up, but individual users can go in here and modify those. So I'm going to go back to my course, and we're going to go back to that grades. So hopefully this was helpful in how you can use the gradebook to message students just by default right there within a few clicks. Now we're going to talk about analytics. So I've pulled up my course, and you'll notice over here on the right side of the homepage, there's a new analytics button. If you do not see new analytics right here on your course homepage, you can go down into your course settings and go into your feature options and see if you can turn on the new analytics button. If you cannot turn on new analytics, you don't see it listed here, and you don't see it on your homepage for your course, then you will need to reach out to your Canvas admin at the district or charter school level and ask them to turn on new analytics. They're very powerful tools that Canvas launched in this past year during the COVID-19 pandemic. So the new analytics allow you to kind of track and see student performance and activity, as well as message students. So when you first access new analytics, you might see this pop up here that gives you some information about how to use new analytics within the Canvas guides. Basically, there's different tabs of new analytics. So you'll see a course grade, and you'll see different assignments that you can filter by. And the nice thing is that next to each one of these tabs, there's a little envelope to where I can message students. So, we saw previously in the gradebook how we can message students based on, score, missing, late. Same thing here with, message students who, if they are missing or late on this assignment. But we can also talk about our weekly online activity, and again, message students who, and now we have the resources to message students who viewed or maybe didn't view. So I have 7 students here who didn't view. Maybe they didn't view the course homepage, or they didn't view the end of course reminder. That was 400 students there. And then we can message them, or maybe the ones who participated on the content discussion, but maybe those who didn't participate in the content discussion. So, there we go. We can do that as well. So this is an advanced feature here where we could go through and, based on who participated or did not, send them a little note. You also have these charts and a nice page down here that shows you all the page views and the number of students who viewed that page, right? So I can see that, most students saw these pages, and then as I was going down, most of them did not view those pages there. Your Students tab has more specific individual students data, so this is nice if you are maybe thinking about a particular student and you need to see, when they last accessed the course, what their overall grade is. All of that information is visible on the Students tab. And then the last tab is the Reports tab. So all of these reports are available and they download as a CSV spreadsheet. Very handy to have. So if you need just one CSV spreadsheet of all the missing work for all your students in the course, you can run this report and download it. Same thing with late assignments or excused assignments. Course activity. If you click on the eye for any of these, it kind of gives a sample of what you might see. So this is a list of all of the interactions in your course, right? So you're going to see everything that every student has ever done in the course, and each student's interaction with each page or assignment or discussion board in your course is going to be listed on a separate row. So you would be able to see everything that all students have done, right? And you'll be able to see when they first viewed that page or assignment, when they last viewed it, how many times they viewed it, if they participated, which means if they submitted something, or if they commented on a discussion board, that's a participation. So you'll be able to see all of that information for everything in your course. This one, depending on how many students are in your course, this page here, a report, could be quite lengthy. So just keep that in mind. If you're looking for an individual student, I would first go into your students tab and search for that one particular student and see if that gives you what you need before going into the course activity, because that report's gonna be quite lengthy when you download that. But hopefully the new analytics here is very helpful. I love to be able to message students who have maybe, not only just grades, but also based on if they haven't seen. So maybe if I posted a new assignment or discussion board, I can go in there and message the students who haven't viewed it yet and say, hey, I see you haven't taken a look at this, discussion board or this assignment yet. So, go take a look at it. Just because, students sometimes just don't see everything. Great options here within new analytics. All right, so the last thing we're going to share in this video is a sneak peek at a new feature that's coming for the 21-22 school year. So depending on when you're watching this video, this feature will probably be live. It goes in the June upgrades for Canvas LMS in 2021. And so this new feature is going to be very handy. So as I showed you in SpeedGrader previously, you're going to have this new icon, little speech bubble in the top right corner of your comment box on SpeedGrader. And when you click on that speech bubble, it's going to open up the comment library, which will allow you to view and insert new comments from your library. So this is wonderful if you want to go ahead and pre-populate some standards-based comments based on how students are performing. You will have this library. The nice thing about the comment library is that it's going to save to your individual user and not to a particular course. So you will be able to see all of your comments for all the courses that you teach in Canvas, and you'll be able to reuse this comment library from semester to semester or year to year. As your courses change, your comment library will stay with you. So I think this is going to be a great feature to allow for more personalized feedback that's more detailed, because you can really go ahead and spend some time and build out wonderful comments that you'll be able to type in. One thing I will show you is that when you manage the comment library, you'll be able to toggle on or off a show suggestions when typing. So that way, like if you just started typing in the first couple of words of a comment, it would pop up in the comment box, and then you'd be able to quickly add it. Or you can always click on that little chat bubble icon and open up the full library. So just thinking about, if you want that kind of predictive text to turn on or off, you can toggle it with that show suggestions when typing. So this is a great feature that I think will be wonderful to have next year. So I'm excited about it. All right, I hope this video was helpful for you in learning how to give some high quality feedback and also add standards alignments to your assignments, rubrics, and quizzes. Thank you.